Christopher.
Hi, guys.
How you doing,
How's
man?
my pals?
Good to
All
see
right,
you.
Tony?
What's up?
How you doing?
Jimmy over there, my buddy.
Doggy.
Things good?
How you enjoying the week? Things are good.
Yeah, I got my wife and daughter with me. So first time, my daughter lives in San Diego. She came here, and I went to. Don't forget, I have a kid who's coaching at Northern Arizona.
Correct.
So I went to 2 games last week at Northern Arizona. They lost both by a basket, but he's the third assistant. So I drove up here Sunday morning. It's about 4 hours. So I drove up here from Flagstaff, and my wife, whose birthday was last Saturday night, I got her 2 tickets to Adele.
Oh, nice.
So I can't do anything wrong right now.
Well,
I'm in good shape.
Did you go with her?
No, my daughter did.
Oh, okay.
Who's 23 years old. So she had her daughter with her at Adele last Saturday night when I was watching the second game in Flagstaff.
Yep.
So I've had and then this week I went to U2. You guys all went to U2 last night.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm not a big U2 fan, but they did a great job. And the building is superb. I'm sure you talked
Unbelievable.
about it today.
How you feeling today?
I feel woozy for one
Yeah.
reason. And I didn't drink. And no gummies. And I feel a
was
little
just gonna-
woozy.
I was just saying, what about the
No
drugs?
gummies. No, I should have because I would have, but I was a little worried about the vertigo and I didn't want to get freaked out, so I didn't. But as it turned out, it's the perfect place to take one.
While there-
with the alligators up there and the tarantulas and everything else.
I would pay,
perfect time.
I would pay to see you on drugs.
I'm usually pretty quiet. I'm pretty quiet. I don't say much.
All right, Chris. If you were doing sports radio in Boston, what would you be hammering? What would you be hammering?
Right this second.
I mean, can I tell you what we're hammering? You know, it's just.
Well, I would think 2 things. Yeah, I don't think you can do the Celtics or the Bruins. This is either Red Sox or
I think
Patriots.
To me, it's the implosion of Bill Belichick and maybe
Surprised he has not gotten a job. Yeah.
and how it all fell apart here. And potentially, has he been exposed a little bit without the quarterback and that thing? I think that's the story.
I think you're right. I think we've learned. Paul Brown didn't win without a quarterback either. Once Otto Graham left, he didn't win a championship either. You got to have the QB. And I think we maybe took it for granted when Brady left that he would figure it out without the quarterback. And now we've learned that can't be the case.
And don't you think he?
I think he thought he could too.
He believed it in himself.
I think so too.
That he could do it without the
You're not
quarterback.
that great. He's so great that he probably thought he could. I'll show you. Give me anybody, and I'll figure it out. And Cam Newton, whoever he decided to use, it didn't work. I'm a little surprised he didn't get a job. I think he will coach again. I don't think Pete Carroll will, but I think he will coach again. So will Vrabel. I think he will coach again. And, next year you got a chance for some good openings. Who knows on the Eagles, who knows on Dallas. Although I don't know if Jones will go there because he wants to be the poster boy for the team. Who knows at Dable. I mean, I think there's a chance. I think he'll coach next year. But I am surprised he did not get a job. No, I think he's better off not taking the Atlanta job because they don't have a quarterback either. And they're not getting one. They got the 9th pick in the draft. So from that standpoint, I think he might be actually a little better off. But we'll see where he ends up next year. But I do think he'll coach.
Why don't you think anyone hired him?
I think old. I think they want to take the young assistant. Callahan goes to Tennessee. Seattle took the young McDonald there from the Ravens. I think the Washington hire is terrible. How they decided to bring in Dan Quinn
After that game.
after his 28 loss to you guys, and then the Dallas game, he can't beat San Francisco, and he was only 46-39. This is not a guy who won 100 games with Atlanta. He was 7 games over 500. Plus, they had a Rivera, and who's the defensive coach, and then they go bring in Dan Quinn. Really? I thought that was a horrific hire. So I thought maybe he'd get the Washington job. They got the 2nd pick. But once they bring in that young assistant GM from San Francisco who's 33 years of age, do you think he wants to deal with Belichick, who's 70 years old? And, Belichick hovering him? So, and Quinn's desperate. He's a good guy. When you look at it from that standpoint, he wasn't going to get the Washington job. I thought Dallas would be perfect. Parcells, the liaison between the owner and him. And obviously, McCarthy had a bad loss, and I'm not looking to get McCarthy fired. But if you're Jerry Jones and you're 82 years of age and your goal in life is to win a championship before it's over,
Do you
is
think it is?
Belichick a better coach than McCarthy?
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't hire him.
Well, those are the spots, right?
And the reason he didn't hire him because Jerry's more wrapped up in being the face of the Cowboys. You bring Belichick in, that no longer is the case. And I think that's why I didn't hire him.
Would New York want Belichick?
I thought that, I know this
When I
is
say,
wacky.
well, no, but I mean,
The Jets.
I'm talking about the city. Like, is he revered there or not? Like, Parcells was always revered in New York. Does Belichick have that?
I think with the Jets, this is me, and I'm not a Jet fan. If you're Woody Johnson, I don't care about water under the bridge. Okay, Leo DeRocha managed both the Dodgers and Giants. I'm not interested in that. And Willie Randolph managed both. Yogi Berra managed both. If you are the Jets, and you're Woody Johnson, and your team, Salah, all right, and you know that Belichick is available. You know Rodgers loves him. Rodgers loves Belichick. They think they're along the same lines. They think they're better than everybody. And you think that you can get Belichick to coach for 3 years with Aaron Rodgers? You're an idiot if you don't go after him. Now, he didn't, and a lot of Jet fan thinks that's crazy, Chris. Belichick with the Jets. If you mean to tell me that Woody couldn't ask Goodell, Raj, do me a favor. Go whisper in Belichick's ear and see if he'd be interested if there's an opening here. And Belichick says, working with Aaron Rodgers, AFC East, get back at the crafts. That's where I would have gone if it was my team. The Jets, who haven't made the playoffs in 2 decades, who have the quarterback who's still great. I know, he's 40, but I still have confidence in him. They got a good defense, and Salah's done nothing. You mean to tell me you don't make a run at Belichick? If I owned a team, I would. And the idea that the Jet fan wouldn't have liked it is a bunch of nonsense. You telling me a Jet fan who hasn't made the playoffs in 2 decades wouldn't want Belichick coaching his team with Aaron Rodgers? If I'm a Jet fan who's a season ticket holder, let me have him on my team. Now, maybe Belichick doesn't want to coach the Jets. He said a lot of nasty things. He wouldn't look at the Jet locker room when he did the Bill and Bill thing. You remember that?
Yeah, right.
And maybe Woody doesn't go there either because Belichick left when Leon died, and maybe Woody does. So I'm not trying to say that it might be irreparable, but from a Jet fan perspective, you cannot tell me under any circumstances that you'd rather have Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers than Belichick and Aaron Rodgers. You can't tell me that. That's not fair.
That clip of you that went viral after the NFC Championship game, you've been fighting the good fight against the nerds. Do you think that analytics is starting to ruin football?
Yes, I sure do, just like it has in baseball. I mean, how does anybody, and I know Twitter universe probably can't stand me. I don't pay attention to them anyway. These kids who never heard of Paul Brown, they don't know who Clark Shaughnessy is. 73-0 Bears Washington. They'd have no clue. Sid Luckman, they wouldn't know anything. But Don Coryell even. You mean to tell me when you're up 24-10 and you have a 4th and 3 at the 28-yard line, and half the quarter's wiped out anyway. And I don't want to hear about Bagley kicking field goals. He was 11 of 13 from the 40 to 49 in the last 2 years.
Correct.
And he kicked a 54-yarder against Tampa. No weather issues whatsoever in that stadium. You mean to tell me you don't kick a field goal in that situation? You don't mean to tell me that? And then at 27-24. Think about 27-24 for a second. If you don't get the first down there, the game is over. Oh, my God. Did you plan this? Did you plan this? Oh, my God. Talk.
We're joined
Nice
by
color.
Stephen A. Smith joins us here on set with Mad Dog Russo.
God.
Looking sharp.
What's up, my brother?
Looking
I
sharp.
told you I'd be here for you, Tony.
I like it. I like it. Looking good.
How y'all doing, man?
Mad Dog's pissed because you're going to take up his airtime.
Trust me, he knows better.
I'm talking here about the football. You got to pop in and say hello.
Excuse me. Well, first of all, I'm next. But secondly, and more importantly, I'm not interrupting. You want to go ahead and speak? Go ahead and speak.
You own the room. I got to keep my mouth shut.
I own the room. Who treated you to dinner last night, man?
He did.
Thank you very much.
He took me to dinner.
You
Was
okay?
it a good one?
Yeah.
Very good. I had to
That's it.
rush it. He had to rush it a little bit. But
No, you left before me.
I had the concert for crying out
But then
loud.
don't say I rushed it. You
Johnny
did.
Rockets?
You know?
I invested in that. That was a disaster.
Food court over here?
I'm sure you're springing for a big meal. Yeah, I'm sure you're springing.
What were we just talking about?
I didn't do any gummies.
Jets.
No
The Jets
gummies
and
at you.
No gummies.
He asked me about the gummies at you too. No
Yeah,
gummies.
no
These guys
gummies.
did.
Absolutely.
But you were saying about the Jets and Salah. Like, to me, Mad Dog, it's
Woody
going to
Johnson with Belichick. I wish Belichick was coaching the Jets. That's the topic.
Well, no. They're not good enough.
Aaron Rodgers for next year, good defense?
I think Aaron Rodgers next year, good defense. I get all of that. Bill Belichick really hurt himself. And I think that, listen, he's the greatest coach probably ever. Nobody can take away from that. But you guys know better than me. This is what I've been saying for the last few months. You're the man that forced out Tom Brady. You're not coming back from that. You're just not. And as bad as things were the last 4 years, put it in this perspective. Again, you guys would know better than me. You're in that area. I'm speaking as a New Yorker with the fans and everybody else talking about Boston fans here. If Tom Brady has said, it's time, I want to retire, I'm thankful for everything, love you guys, and walked away, and the same struggles existed, Bill Belichick might still be there.
Yeah.
Because you would have been more patient, you would have been more forgiving, more understanding, and Mr. Kraft would have as well. But you told him Tom was done. You told him I needed to move on. This man leaves, goes to Tampa, wins the very first year he departed from you, okay? And in the meantime, you've got Mac Jones, who was looking good first year. But then you decide that Joe Judge and Matt Patricia can be offensive coordinators. You messed that up. And then for the next 2 years, not only do you not recover, but y'all nosedive offensively to the point where you look inept. We know you're not inept. So why did these mistakes happen? Your ego, which is why he didn't get hired. Because you are a guy, they know you walk into the room, you've had control. Y'all see the direction that pro sports is going in. Younger dudes are getting hired. They're bringing in their own dudes with the analytics, the metrics, etc. And their attitude is, this is how we want to do things. Can we get him to listen to us? Who's he going to listen to? He shows that he ain't trying to listen to anybody. So you can't trust him to listen to new breed because he's forgotten more football than they know. And where you were, you pissed off your boss because you convinced him to let you have your way, because I'm telling you what I was told, figure out who told me. If Bill Belichick had gone to Tom Brady and said, I don't want you to leave, will you stay? Tom Brady stays.
Yeah, they pay him.
He doesn't leave. He doesn't leave. It would have worked out. The fact that you were not willing to do that is what I was told. You were not willing to do that. Tom Brady like, I'm out. I'm down.
Yeah, but Steven, you can't leave out the ownership part of that.
Explain.
Okay, I'll tell you how you explain. They gave up the right to franchise Tom Brady. Who made that decision?
Hold on, I agree with that. No, but wait a minute.
Kraft made that decision.
Wait a minute. Oh, no, Tony, you're not doing this. Not on your show. You and I go back years. You're not trying that. Don't tell me that the Tony that I've known for decades would not have said, man, you gave me 20 years, you deserve this. That's what I'm talking about. We know business-wise it wasn't the wisest thing to do. But if somebody produces for you for 20 years, 9 Super Bowls in 19 years, 6 Super Bowl championships, and all he's saying a year in advance is that a year from now I want the freedom to leave. You would not have kept somebody that produced like that for you. You would not have done that.
Then you could have overruled the coach and given Tom the contract he wanted.
Wait a minute.
Kraft did not. No, hold on.
You're not telling the truth, though.
No, hold on. I'm telling the truth. No, I'm telling the truth. And as you said, it's our show.
But I am a guest. And you did invite me on several occasions.
That's right. You are a guest.
You got it.
So remember, we decide when the meal is served.
I got you.
So
I remember that.
All I'm saying
is, on first take. I remember that. But go ahead.
Robert Kraft negotiated the contracts with Tom Brady.
Yes, sir.
For the large majority of his time that they were in New England.
Yes.
So why, when it came to that point, all of a sudden was it in Bill Belichick's hands?
No. What I'm saying to you, Tony, is this. I get what you're coming from. But if you and I have a relationship, and you've been doing this for me for years, and you produced while taking less dollars than you could have commanded and stuff like that to facilitate you assembling a roster so we could compete for years. At some point in time, Tony, I know you're a good guy. You're going to go like this. He's done this for me for 15, 16, 17 years. I owe him this. That's what Mr. Kraft did.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't anything wrong with that. But in the same breath, you tell me, why couldn't you just sign him from the beginning and kept him happy?
No, because he was saying it wasn't just about the money, it was about the relationship with Belichick.
Okay, and but it was largely about the money. If they had given him that Drew Brees contract,
Brady kept asking for the Drew Brees contract.
And Mike and I have talked about this a lot. If they had given him that deal from the very beginning and never let it go down to the wire, there would have been no issue. And Brady went to them after the Atlanta Super Bowl. Brady went to them and asked them, give me this deal. When am I going to get my extension? And they didn't give it to him.
Yes, but what I'm saying to you is part of the reason it didn't happen is because the man himself, who's Belichick that we're talking about, didn't want it to happen. If Belichick went to Kraft and said, I'm with Brady, this is what we want, Kraft does it. So it comes down.
I don't know.
Listen, okay, fair enough. I'm telling you what I was told.
That's taking Kraft off the hook.
I'm telling you what I was told. Now, I'm not going to refute what you know because I ain't following y'all every damn day, but I'm telling you what I was told. Now, if you want to ignore what I was told, that's fine.
Okay.
All I can go by. That's all I'm saying.
At the end of the day, that last year they lost to Tennessee. If Belichick told Kraft, I need Brady, keep Brady, would Kraft have said fine, and would have Brady stayed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Then why you argue with me?
That's the point.
That's the point.
Because I think it's still Robert Kraft's team, and the owner can.
Well, that's fair. Kraft could have overruled Belichick. He could have overruled him. That's what you're saying.
And
he should have overruled him.
which has happened. We have Stephen A. Smith and Mad Dog Russo here joining us together. Mad Dog, and I want both of you. Mahomes or Brady? Who do you got?
Well, you've heard me, Stevie. I've told you about. We've done a lot of this, right?
Yeah.
Those Wednesdays. I think Mahomes is the best quarterback I've ever seen. Now,
Talent-wise, yes.
I think he's tremendous. Listen, if you have a game to win for your life, I'm taking Mahomes. Now, if you were looking at it from an aggregate standpoint, you got guys who got 2 Super Bowls and guys who got 7. You got to take Brady. But if you ask me, it's like Sandy Koufax and, let's say Walter Johnson.
How do you feel about all those old baseball references?
Yeah,
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me because he's kind of shocked.
No one knows
at
who they're
what
talking
I
about.
know when
He does
brings that
I-
stuff
he-
up.
he's good.
No, but
my father.
but the
was
listeners have
baseball
his
encyclopedia.
father-
the listeners have no idea when he brings up those old
That's
guys.
right. That's right. But I'm here to reel him in.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
He's a
Koufax
superstar
had
now.
the 4 great years. So if you took, and you're not 10 or 12, same thing with Mahomes. Aggregate Brady, game for your life. Stephen A. Right now, you pick any quarterback you've seen, and your life's on the line. Who do you want being the quarterback?
I get you with Mahomes because the talent is the talent. I'm just saying what I said to you on First Take. Anybody has a reason to use that analogy other than you. You of all people.
Why can't I do
Mr.
that?
Historian. You bring up historian. 3 words. Historian, legacy, and immortal. His 3 favorite words.
Okay.
Historian, legacy, immortal. And I'm saying all of that gets attached with longevity. But he wants to throw that out the window when it comes to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So what I'm saying is somebody like us who can be prisoners of the moment and witnessing a Patrick Mahomes, but we might decide to defer to history. He doesn't get to blame us for that because it's all he does. I'll bring up a point about Kobe or MJ or whatever. This brother goes to Pete Merrick.
Yeah.
You understand? This is what he does, okay? I bring up Steph Curry. He brings
You
up
do
Bird.
some of that too, young man.
This is what he does.
Bob Cousy.
This is what he does. Bird. Bird.
I love
Bird.
Bird. He knows I love Bird.
Bird. And I'm like, this is what he does all the time. But then when it comes to Patrick Mahomes and then Tom Brady, you want us to throw that aside. Be consistent. That's all I'm saying. If I said Mahomes, it's tolerable. You is inexcusable.
Did you hear his New Yorker thing the other day?
So you're Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm Mahomes.
I'm Mahomes.
Brady.
Brady.
I can't get Mahomes. My life's on the line now. My life.
Life.
Brady.
You're still taking Brady, huh?
Brady.
Well, let me say this to you.
But ask me again and
Well,
ask me
let me
again.
give you
in
this
Tuesday.
analogy.
Ask me again in a week.
I use this analogy with NBA all the time. There are people, my answer to a specific question about NBA players over the course of 48 minutes is different than what it is when you ask me about somebody in the last 2 minutes.
That's true,
So
too.
in other words, what I'm saying, when you bring up that analogy, if you're going to tell me Brady, okay, over the last 2 minutes, I'm with you. You tell me over the course of 48 minutes,
Good point.
I'm looking at Mahomes.
And don't forget Montana, 4-0 in the Super
4-0.
Bowl, 3 MVPs.
127 passer rating.
That was it, 11
touchdowns,
No
0
picks.
interceptions.
Thank
Yes,
you. I know
absolutely.
that one well.
That's right.
All right, one more. Stephen A. and Mad Dog. If the Celtics don't win the title this year, is it a fail?
I'll let him answer that. That's his deal.
Is it a fail?
Yes. Yes.
You had to pause for that?
No. Because of Missoula. I don't believe in him yet. I know he's a good coach.
They should win in spite of him.
Let me say this. No. I know he's a good coach. He is a good coach, guys. But he's not Ime Udoka. He's not. There's a different level. And I'm telling you right now, if Ime Udoka was the coach of the Boston Celtics, if not last year, this year, they'd win the title. You cannot have Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics shoot 45 threes a game and think you're going to win a championship. You're not beating Denver playing that way. You're not beating the Clippers playing that way. I don't believe it.
Interesting.
You cannot do that. And I love the Porzingis pickup, but I would feel so much better if they had Porzingis with Brown and Tatum and didn't lose Marcus Smart. Love Drew Holiday. Love Derek White, but Marcus Smart. Oh my God!
Don't take the cheese on him.
Something special.
He's overrated.
Stephen, they're better that he's gone.
Listen,
Really?
no.
They're better that he's gone.
Time out. I'm not saying that. I understand in totality, but we just finished talking about moments, and I'm talking about that time in a series when you need that something extra. I totally support the move. I love Brad Stevens, the job that Brad Stevens has done. And I think that Porzingis is the right guy. Don't get me wrong. But Al Horford's 37, 38 years old. You don't have an interior offensive weapon. All the things that you're doing is shooting threes. Denver's a big team. And Denver's the champions, and Jokic is that dude. And I'm saying, okay, is three-point shooting going to beat them?
No.
Is three-point shooting going to beat Clippers? That's my reservation. That's it. And that's and to me, with Mazzulla, it's almost like, and I've seen this happen on many occasions with a lot of people in our business, not just in sports. You have some people, they're not just concerned about doing their job. They have to do it their way to show you they're not their predecessor. And I believe, I don't know anything about Mazzulla. I respect the man. I respect his coaching abilities. But I'm telling you, I see a guy that thinks like that in my estimation. I'm not Ime Udoka. Well, guess what, damn it? You might need to be.
Interesting point.
You might need to be.
Put his own stamp on it. Celtics should win, though. They should win.
They were my favorites. I picked them to win.
To me, they got no excuse.
I agree with that.
I
have to win it.
I picked them to win.
They got no excuse.
The Bruins need to have something done in the postseason, too, after last year.
No doubt about it.
Well, you ain't going to get me to talk about hockey. The only thing I know about hockey is that the puck is black. I don't know anything else about hockey.
If I had one more question, I was going to ask about the state of sports talk. It's either NFL or NBA, and that's it, Mad Dog. You can't talk about anything else. As much as you try and shoehorn in Sandy Koufax, it's not happening.
Or tennis.
But in all fairness, in all fairness, I have to tell you why. And I owe it to you guys to tell you this. Doggy knows where I'm going. We get the ratings every day.
Yeah.
And we see the ratings every block, like every 15-minute block. And it shows you can talk football. It's here. It doesn't matter what you talk about. Certain NBA topics are here. Certain NBA topics are there. You go to baseball, it's here.
There's nowhere.
Until the postseason starts, or because there's an issue-related matter relative to the sport that people gravitate to. I think that's going to change for the better, though. Why? Because of the new rules that were implemented, you're seeing more athleticism come into sports of baseball. That's going to attract a younger and, dare I say, a more diverse audience. As a result of that, that interest will elevate, and then you'll see in the years to come people getting back to talking about other sports.
I hope you're right.
Me too.